test the mic.
Oh no.
Someone's already on.
Really?
Yeah.
Poor soul.
Welcome. We'll try to get in quick for those that are just like waiting. Ooh. Thanks for hopping on right away. Sorry, I've got to squeeze into this thing.
I don't know why you didn't ask me to move.
I think maybe one of these times I'm going to have them do it because it would make sense because they're on the outside.
No.
I usually do.
When have I
We
ever
are
been
apart.
efficient?
Never. Never, never, never.
True.
In the words of Henry.
Oh yeah, that's coming through.
All right, any of you people like, okay, stop.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, it's Hey Boss and Bruce. Hey guys.
Hey, guys.
Oh, I had an update.
Appreciate you guys coming on. I'm pulling everything up at the moment, and then we're ready to go. So, if you weren't here for the last time, good news is, there's a quick recap. We essentially took over the rest of the ship. The captain was still below decks, refusing to surrender.
For those of you that really don't know, we're playing Secrets of Saltmarsh.
Yes. Also, tonight we're starting the next part of the books.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
That's right.
Saltmarsh.
That's right.
Secrets of
That's
Sinister Secrets of Saltmarsh is what we just finished.
That's right. Yeah.
We're getting through
Were
the.
we in Saltmarsh?
No, we have yet to actually go in there.
Why
well,
was it Sinister Secrets of Saltmarsh?
because it's right next to it, and it had some secrets that you guys didn't discover
Because we didn't go upstairs.
or anywhere.
We didn't go into that room.
You didn't go anywhere. You just
The
went.
crazy whatever it was.
The thing that was probably going to
Yeah.
kill us.
Yes.
It would have hurt. So I mean, it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
But at any rate, they bypassed some big stuff, but also went straight to the other big stuff, which was good. It's kind of balanced itself out. But then they took the ship that was smuggling goods, and they've learned we're smuggling goods to somebody because they had a lot of weapons, like a lot. There was a whole
And then there was
secret room to
a
it.
wood elf.
There was
no.
It was a sea elf.
A sea elf.
His name is Oceanus.
He is a wood elf,
Yeah.
right?
I thought you were gonna say werewolf.
A were-elf.
It could be.
A werewolf.
We don't really know
If he's a
anything
half
about
elf,
him.
would that make him like a were? No.
I don't know.
But anyway, so it's getting a little bit more intriguing. There's stuff going on in the background. They're realizing that it's not just some smugglers. There's some more to it. There's at least a weapons cache, but they didn't kill the captain. They decided, due to some help from some of the gods, to suggest perhaps taking her in for a bounty, and they did so. We did a fast forward, some downtime activities. They instructed me on what they were going to do, so we can save and just go straight into the stuff rather than the fluff. Which fluff is good. We like the role play, and if you like just straight role play, just all the way through, we're doing that in Tal'Dorei, and it's a lot of fun. So go check that out too. Anyway, we're gonna Anyway.
We make even shopping trips fun.
You bought the book because of us? Oh, if only we were sponsored. No, I'm glad though. It's a good book.
Don't you do it? Do you do Amazon affiliate?
No, I have not.
Well, you need to.
Well, there's a lot of things I need to do, but I'm
We'll set that up.
yeah, I'm gonna have to have administrative people help me with that because my brain is into creation and organization is not my forte. But anyway,
Mine. That's why
It
you
is.
married me.
it is true. Yeah, to be my clerical work.
I'm
Yeah.
a cleric, but
Kill me.
that's our other campaign.
He's just thinking support. Support team.
No,
You're basically your assistant.
she keeps
I'm actually the boss.
far from. She keeps me sane and
I'm
on
the
track.
boss.
Yeah, she's well in many aspects. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm the boss.
so what happened is they said they wanted to and I kept track of this. You guys wanted to sell the goods back to Saltmarsh, being like, here you go, we found these, but also is there some kind of reward? There was. You got basically a fourth of what it cost. But that being said,
Okay,
the
you have to
fourth
tell me
is
how much that is,
huge.
'cause I'm
I
the
have it all
banker.
written down. You guys sold like 50 reams of silk. I mean, there's a huge amount of stuff on that ship that they had stolen. So they're gonna get a little pretty penny
What
from
was
it.
the name of the boat?
The Sea Ghost.
And we were going to change the name of it.
You were going to see if you could legitimize the ship and find a crew, which is something they also were asking for to get a crew. They have Frithoff, which was the bosun, the boatswain, the one who is.
And he's the one that helped us.
Yeah, the first mate was gone.
Tell me how much.
The total,
Hey, you just show me.
right here.
Okay.
The total, your share came out to 845 gold silver, even though it was
Wow.
3,380. But
If we had
you
sold
would
it.
had you
Pieces?
gone straight pirate
Did you say gold?
gold. But that's also. Then they also gave you 300 from just miscellaneous treasure that you found. So
Okay.
another 300. And here's another thing. In the ship, you found 25 electrum ingots. Now that's
Who found that?
that was
That was
just
just some?
scattered through the captain's quarters. There's different places. Someone had stolen a little bit. One of the first mates had a couple. What ended up happening is they actually had some symbols on them, and you went and got it appraised. You're like, well, we have all these electrum ingots in Saltmarsh, so you finally made it to Saltmarsh, and it's just this bustling sea town, and it's not huge. It's not like this massive city. It's very calm, but it's very.
I imagine
It's
like
a fisher village,
I
but
imagine
also
like the Hobbit.
very much like
Lake
Lake Town,
Town.
much like Lake Town,
Okay.
but has a shore, and not in the middle of the lake. But it's highly industrious when it comes to the fishing. Like the economy rests solely on the fishing. I mean, there's just a lot to do with that. But there's also some smuggling. You can definitely see just by the way people looked at your ship when you came in. They were excited, and some people were worried. It was just like this mixture of like, who are these people? They shouldn't be here. And other people are like, oh, it's them. Oh, wait, it's not. And so there's definitely some nefarious work possibly going on here too. But based off of what you saw with the appraiser of the ingots, he said, I don't want anything to do with these. He said, it had a symbol on it. You couldn't recognize the symbol unless you want to roll history. And then we'll discuss that. No?
Oh, I didn't roll my other dice too to see which one was better, but that's okay.
Don't
10.
you have a bonus? Oh, that was a different
15.
15.
That's different.
Can't they all combine? All right. And
wish.
so,
I wouldn't mind having the bow again.
if you wouldn't mind keeping track of some of
Yeah,
that, thank
yeah.
you. I definitely want to read your guys'
Mhm.
comments, and I always do afterwards. So if I don't respond, it's not because I'm ignoring you; it's because I'm telling a story.
Blue dice today. Okay.
Ministry of people I came in my life. Tell her I said hi. All right, will do. She says hi. Anyway, Frithoff. Frithoff.
One of the boat people.
He is the main boat people. He's the one that
He's the
spoke
boatswain?
He's the first person
He's the
that
bosun?
spoke up and joined. Yeah, he's the bosun.
That's right.
So he's the coward. I'm just
And we have
kidding.
Jan and Bisk and Pitch and Bora and Braun.
I have
and
them all written
Cross.
down.
Oh, I'm glad you wrote those down because I didn't.
Yeah.
I also
which is
wrote them
weird
down,
because I've
so.
been writing notes.
So I have them in order. Frithoff is the bosun, Braun is the quartermaster, Bora is the surgeon, Cross is the cook, and Pitch is just a sailor. Jan and Bisk are lizard folk mercenaries.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And you needed 8 additional crew,
Sorry, this
which
is loud.
we hired. 8 additional crew members.
Oh, that pencil's
Okay.
broken.
And they aren't the best, but you're paying for what you get. They can be better, and you can train them, and it'll get better as it goes, or it
Okay.
might get worse depending on what you guys do. I mean, it's up to you guys. But anyway,
Okay, he wouldn't take the ingots because they were weird.
he would not. But you did find someone through some channels who would take the ingots,
And what are electrum ingots?
It's precious metal, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the best metal, but it was the symbol itself. He told you was of a lizard folk tribe nearby,
Okay.
and so the lizard folk actually that are with you know of the ingots. They were the ones that helped point them out. But they seem to be some
I
payment.
wonder if these
for
lizard
the
folk
weapons.
are related to the lizard folk that we know in our other life.
What are the chances?
You never know.
Well, we did go into an
I'd say they're
Eladrin.
pretty high because things don't come around twice in a story without being connected.
Maybe. But anyway, this particular tribe, he said, well, it's all bustle right now. They set up camp not too far from here, which we're a little bit worried about. You can always ask someone, but I'll take them off your hands. And he did. He paid you a little bit less than what they're worth because of the trouble that it's going to give them to melt them down and turn them into actual usable pieces. To not scare people by handing them an ingot and being like, oh, this belongs to possible lizard folk. You know, people get superstitious, especially by the sea. Anywho, the total for that came out to be about 1,200, but here's the thing. 1,250 is what it came out to. But the...
the ingots?
Yes. Total.
Gold?
Yes. All tallied together. But he's only paying you 1,000 for it.
So...
You
1,000
can
gold for just
negotiate, but that's what
just for the ingots. I think
just
that's,
for the ingots.
I think that's fair. What do you think?
I mean, it was a lot. I mean, they're big, solid metal.
So
And it is a currency.
So you
it's not a
said
big currency. It wouldn't if it was platinum ingots. That's not.
845 for the gold.
Right.
I mean 845 for the
845
stuff.
for the
Material.
the silk,
and
and the
then
brandy and the
300 for
wine.
other things.
Yes.
And
You
then-
guys stole a ship that was
We did.
already full of goods, so you got bank. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just the way it works. But also now you have to care for a ship and
I also
crew.
have
So I have that tallied out as well. So if you,
I also had a pipe of remembrance.
yes, you did. We
I
also
didn't
had
take the
some
silk
smut.
and I didn't take the brandy.
Did you guys take the books?
I think I did take.
Can't remember.
No, I just took the journal.
Oh, okay. Well, there was some
I
other
didn't.
stuff
I
there
didn't
too.
take the smut.
You didn't take the smut. All right. Gotta pay your crew.
Um,
So true, man. There's mutiny and all sorts of fun things in this book. So
I'll wait to sell those things because I want to look at the pipe of remembrance better, and
yeah,
the gaming dice I might just keep.
yeah.
You can't remember what's on it.
The pipe of remembrance.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know it very well.
That is pretty ironic. Anyway, so he took it off your hands, but you also spoke to the shipwright, the one who builds the ships, legitimizes ships in the area. He said that the ship is stolen, Imperial property. However, it's not on the books anymore. They deemed it sunk.
Written off.
So
Written out of their taxes.
he said he was willing to. I'm willing to make a deal with you. Perhaps if you pay a little bit more, I can work something out with the council, and they can allow it.
If it's not in the books, why would it require an extra fee?
Because of the danger that involves writing up a writ that involves me lying about the whereabouts of the ship and the name and everything, which, by the way, you are going to have to change. It can no longer be the Sea Ghost. In fact, you might want to paint it as well. I mean, Empire knows its ships.
Well, we're not trying to hide it from the Empire. We want to.
Yes, you could, and I will have the proper papers, and you can say that it's within jurisdiction. You're able to do it. They know of every ship. It's not their ship anymore.
I kind of want to roll like an insight to see if he's just trying to like.
Okay.
if he's
Squeeze
just being,
us,
Yeah,
yeah.
just being greedy. And now I roll really low. Oh my gosh!
You see him as a very
6.
trustworthy person.
Oh, don't let me down. Okay, sounds good to me. What are we talking about?
Must have missed that part.
I'm gonna do like a minor intimidation with him here. I'm not
Thank you.
I'm not trying to like make him poop his pants, but
I mean, the night is young. All right.
basically I'm gonna tell him, should we find that you cheated us on this deal, we'll be extremely disappointed.
Okay. And are you rolling for this?
Yeah.
He says it really slow.
What'd you get?
Natural one.
He nods at this little, very small gnome in front of
You
him
have
that's
not been
threatening him.
gnomed.
He's not threatened at all.
You tried to get up on like a box that was nearby to threaten him and slipped a little bit, and just like it looked a little comical. Even though you were very serious, he didn't quite translate that as serious. And he just kind of chuckles a bit and he's like, "Whatever you say, boy." And he said, "But that being said, you're not part of the Empire. If you bring this to the Empire, they will make it
That's
theirs."
what I get when I don't try hard enough. Should've
He
made it.
says, "If I bring this to the Empire, they will take the ship back." you'll have to spend a lot of extra money. If you work through me, I can write up just the paperwork to say that this ship is a legitimate ship on its own free will, working as a privateer.
And how much are we talking?
Yeah, what's your price?
Well, typically these kind of papers aren't cheap, but I could definitely get you something that's 700-800 gold.
So write some letters on a piece of paper.
That is how it's done. But I'm
Are
talking
you gonna
about the
paint our
work.
ship too?
Well, I never said that.
What kind of other services would you
I'm
throw in
pretty
as
sure
a
you
freebie?
said you were going to paint the ship.
Roll persuasion.
Gosh, this is gonna be bad. Oh goodness. 11.
You see him sit there for a second. He's like, okay. If you allow me to write these papers up, and you do not tell anyone unless they are going to come to me for the same deal, I will be more than happy to write you up for 700 and paint your ship. What's the name that you want on the ship? I need a name.
I wish that you came up
Chat's recommending SS Munchkin.
with
The gods of
How about the good ship lollipop?
I'm gonna allow everyone to do it, and I'm gonna roll for the amount of people doing it, and we're
If
gonna
we're gonna
just see
do
what
that,
it's
then
called.
it should be the good ship lollipop.
The good ship.
Yeah, let's do that.
SS Munchkin. I do love that.
How about
All right, I
What
want
was-
everyone to weigh in that's here, and then we'll see. It's not many, so you kind of just 1 and 2, and we'll flip a
how
coin.
about the opulent weasel?
Wow, a different campaign. Anyway, while you're thinking of it, so he does, if you pay him the money, that's what he's going to do. He's gonna.
700?
It's in your name, and whose name shall I make it out to? And he's finished the calligraphy and the beautiful, like, the markings and everything, and it looks very official.
Alston?
Captain Alston, you're going to be an official captain
Yes.
if you do this.
He is the captain. Didn't we decided that you were the
Yeah,
captain?
That, I
I
mean,
guess,
that's
yeah.
kind of what we ended up deciding.
Yeah.
All right, so he's
He has to put the captain's name on there?
of the ship. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Every deed it passes to. So he writes out, and he writes Captain Alston. He the sneaky bitch.
The sneaky midget.
What?
For the sake of political correctness, we'll stick with the munchkin. But that is really funny.
Oh man.
If only you were a rogue. All right. So he says, and your signature, and he passes the paper over to you. And as you sign it, I assume you sign it. You just kind of are a little bit like, well, this isn't what I expected a couple days ago to be a captain.
And we're sure this guy is going to be able to legitimize the ship. We're not just handing some
Based
random
off what you know,
bloke
he's
$700
yeah,
to.
no, he's an official. He's writing it into his books. You see him like going through the stamps, like getting everything all organized, filing it, like he's doing all the work.
Okay.
You're there while he does it. The stout snivel. All right, so we'll figure out the exact name and what they ended up naming it. We're just gonna.
We should probably ask Mark.
Well,
really good at
he's
coming
definitely
up
going to
with
be
some
a
good
part of
names.
it.
Yeah.
But I do want to
Yeah.
weigh in your guys. I actually really like the SS
SS
Munchkin.
Munchkin's hilarious.
All right, so to make this night go a little bit quicker,
Yeah.
you get it finished.
Yeah, I want to be the quartermaster because then I have the most
Ooh.
authority
Yes.
besides
You can
the
displace.
captain,
Yes,
the first mate.
Was it Pitch or Braun?
I have it
yeah.
right
I think
here.
Braun
I'm
was, I think Braun was
I'm the
He
quartermaster.
was the. Oh, by the way, I have this too. So you guys.
Nice.
the boat.
Yeah. All right.
No one's the quarter. Oh,
Braun. So
Well,
Braun
I'm
gets
the
demoted.
quartermaster.
Braun can find something else.
He is now going to be. Oh, this.
And our first mate should be
I have
key.
it right here. Should be key.
Mm-hmm.
First mate, key.
Mhm.
All right. So we are downgrading a couple people. It's all right. So here's the thing about how payment goes. A sailor gets paid in the Empire, in this whole region, 5 silver a day.
Okay.
A good sailor.
That's while they're sailing.
Yes. While they're sailing. When they're
To-
at port,
what-
that's their.
Okay.
So 5 silver a day. Right now, you're not paying them. Or 3 gold and
Who are
5 silver.
pirates? You find your own stuff and
Take part in the booty. All
we-
right. Well, that
we
needs to be discussed.
Spread it out.
So 3
Everybody
gold
gets a
typically, or 5 and 5 silver. a week.
semi-equal share.
So
We take 50%, they split the rest.
right now you have a month's.
Deal.
Let's see how long this mutiny is.
I just
No, I like it. That's good. We make it fun.
no, we're investing that 50%.
The guys that you ordered have
real estate.
The guys that you ordered it sounds like you just like let's see, some mercenaries. You walked into a tavern like, who wants a sale? And just like a bunch of them just were like, yeah. Just like 8 guys. They are
And we
all-
need that many?
15 totals. Your ship.
Really?
It's a ship.
Okay, let me see the people's name.
What?
I want to see the crew's name.
Okay. So the main crew. The rest are sailors, and I'll get you those names. That's all the way down here. Cooper. He was a Cooper. Carpenter and Cooper is now their quartermaster and first mate. The new guys. So hopefully they're good at that. Braun is now a.
Most pirate ships did not have a first mate. They only had a quartermaster. But
Well,
we're
it
not
wasn't a
ship.
pirate ship. I mean, it was kind of.
And we'll just let Key feel like he has some authority. He's not here, so
You can't make any choices.
All right, Braun is
He
now.
he can't make decisions. It's all us.
Cooper,
I
and-
agree, we should have made Frithoff the captain. But then he would have been in charge.
Yeah, you don't want to give them
No,
charge. All right.
that's too much authority.
So Captain Alston.
He can be acting captain when we're not on the boat.
Do you have a last name, or is it just Alston?
It's Garrick.
Alston. Gay. Alright.
Garr, yeah. ICK.
All right, Captain Alston Garrick. It's nice. We need to come up with like a fearsome name, like the something, or like something they can refer to as Old Clawhand.
Dreadclaw.
Ooh. Captain Alston Dreadclaw Garrick.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that makes sense. Dread, because and the it's like you were ready for that. All right. We got some names. Frithoff should have been kept. Yeah. I have arrived, Potatoes Wolf. Welcome. All right. So, the council calls to you. You receive.
What council?
There's a council. The Council of Saltmarsh.
Oh.
It is a committee. It is a very diverse group of people who are very invested
city
in.
council.
They're invested in Saltmarsh. Some are for one group, some are for another, and some are a bit in between. But yeah, there's a lot more to it. Very in depth. Like if you read the book, there's so much about each person and their interests and what they're looking for. But typically, there's basically, this, is that it's split between the throne and their old way of life. Because the Empire is coming into their area. And everyone that's a loyalist is like, yeah, bring them in. Like, we need some civility here. And then the others are just like, we have our smuggling, we have our fishing, we have our way of life. It doesn't hurt anyone, just stay out of it. So you kind of have this cut down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But right now there's a lot of buzz around town as you start walking down the streets. You just hear people talking about the lizard folk nearby, and some people talk about this new ship that came in that had all this stolen goods and gave it back. I mean, it's just like everyone's really confused. It's a lot of just hustle and bustle, gossip going around. Also side quest stuff that you could potentially do, but we'll get straight to the goods right away.
Goods.
Right away. So you come to the council room, and do you bring the previous captain, with you? Because you have not dealt with her yet.
To the council?
Is the council? Can they give us? The council's not the people we bring to get a bounty.
They
claim a
they
bounty,
do
right?
have. You do know that they do have like the sheriff is part of the council.
Then maybe we'll wait
Yeah.
and then go back.
Maybe let them know.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Make sure we're not. She could get away. She could kill someone.
Plus, we don't want her getting information to the wrong people.
Yeah, it's true.
It's giving a powerful position to somebody we don't want to.
Yeah.
Well done. All right.
I was gonna kill her with lightning, but everyone was too close.
Yeah, I just rewatched that, and I was like, this is really funny. All right, so as you arrive to the council, by the way, this is the city of Saltmarsh, the town. And so you came in at the docks, you sold your goodies, and then you're headed to the council, which is somewhere. Doesn't matter. It's over here. I had it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you walk down the street to the council building. So you walk in and you just see a bunch of people. I mean, it's just a bunch of people sitting around. But then there's definitely a main group. A couple people are watching you as you come in, and some people are whispering, not quietly, and just saying like, "Well, we appreciate those guys." They're saying like appreciative words. They're like, you hear what they did? They brought it back. They could have gone anywhere with that stuff, and you definitely did a thing that made people very pleased. Like, you feel like if you put it into points, like you were like a 0, no one knew who you were. Now you're like a 50. You know what I mean? Like,
we're building our renown.
You're building your renown, so to speak.
But we have to make sure that we're not too benevolent.
Don't want that kind of reputation.
No.
Hey, we dispensed quick justice.
Well, that's true. You definitely did. Okay, so there's a woman who speaks up, and her name is...
We're in a room.
It's like a...
There's a table, or what are we looking at?
Yeah,
here?
so you walk in, and it's a very long table. There's big windows in the back overlooking Saltmarsh. And it just... I mean, Saltmarsh is pretty crummy, but it's beautiful in its own way. But when you walk into this room, it's very opulent, very nice. I'm thinking opulent weasel. But then you walk in, and it's just this like nice polished wood. I mean, old furniture, but it's got that like musky, fishy smell from the town a bit. But it smells like leather-bound books. It's nice in here.
Leather and fish.
Yeah, leather and
I
fish.
love it.
It's a hot day too, so it smells great.
Sweltering little fishy leather.
And you see a woman, and she speaks up, and she says, "Hello, I'm the senior member. My name is Ada Oland. Remember the name? But I'm very pleased that you could make it. We heard that you did some gallantry and on behalf of the Empire, and we appreciate what you've done. Most notably, you've taken a ship. Is that my understanding? You've killed some smugglers. Tell in your account what had happened."
Yeah.
You speak up and say just yeah.
That's right. We were checking out a house that what's his face? Thaddeus Bogue bought. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
And we discovered that these smugglers were using it as a little cache. And we took them out.
And you hear some people grumble, some people sound a little bit more excited about it. It's pretty split, and it seems like it's split in the middle. One half of the table is like, I don't know what we're going to do now. And then other people are like, well, that's actually pretty good, because now we're going to do, and they're like, we can move in on that. And like, it's already like business talk, like right away. Like, you're just kind of standing there. And
you won't want to go into that house, just so you know, because there's some things in there that we didn't really...
There's a dead body with vomit.
We didn't really take care of. Anyway, then we found a ship, and we took the ship, and that's why we're here. And now the ship is ours, legally. Why am I doing all the talking?
And so she's like, and I apologize. We've heard much about you, but what are your names?
This is Captain Alston. Alston?
Yeah.
Alston?
Dreadclaw.
Dreadclaw. Garrick.
And then she looks at everyone, and then she kind of goes like this because the table is long. And you walk in, and she's like, I expected a hat. And the council laughs.
We haven't gone shopping yet.
Well, there's time for that here. Definitely time for that. And we appreciate your patronage. But there is
strange men in silly hats does not constitute captainship.
Indeed. And she laughs, and then she stands up and she swears, and she tells one of her people to come forward. Bring them a drink, please. And she bids you to sit down at the table.
I'm gonna check for poison. I'm just kidding.
So a very young man with just like this, like, he's got this frilly, like, what is it called? I can't even remember. Just like a frilly shirt, and he's just like over the top, like he has a wig on. He's just like comes forward, he just hands you a drink. He has the like tray, and it just looks like some rum. I mean, it doesn't look anything fancy, but just
I sniff it, and then I down it.
smells like rum. Ooh, hire me. By the way, yeah, anyone that wants to join the crew, I have their names. But that being said, if you want to be part of the crew, please mention your pirate name. Make it reasonable. Don't go nuts. And what your race
Beyonce.
is. Yeah.
Beyonce. Oh my gosh, that
No,
would be the best.
We haven't named the boat yet. We're still doing that, but we're mostly just talking right now.
Yeah.
Or should we kidnap us?
Who's connected?
They were talking about the previous captain.
Fred should have been captain. Oh yeah. Well, anyway, so she sits down. Everyone sits down with her, and she's not very like even though she's the leader of this group, this most senior officer, I'd say, maybe not leader, but the acting speaker at the moment. She just doesn't look the type or sound the type when she sits down. She's just very unladylike, and so she then says, "Our reports have come in that you have come across not just goods, but also something a bit troubling. A vast array of weapons."
Isn't that what we sold?
No, you haven't sold the weapons.
And how do you know this?
You're in Saltmarsh, dear. And she just smiles at you, and everyone kind of chuckles.
Call me dear.
Talking to a dragonborn.
I have to ask Aida. That's how she pronounced it, right?
Ada or Ida.
Ada.
Yeah, whichever you prefer.
What is the nature of our summons here today?
Well, I'm glad you're to the point. And then someone chuckles. Someone chuckles as they kind of like look at your hand. And then she says, well, those ingots that you sold, which we're going to look past, that's fine. They have been coming around. People have been using them, and not necessarily people in our town, but we've seen them and heard of them. They're being used to smuggle, it seems, and we're not sure the nature or the origin, but based off of one man's testimony is that they bear some symbols that trouble us a bit. See, there's this place called Dunwater that was abandoned camp, so to speak, that's been taken up recently with lizard folk, and not just a few, a lot of them. And we're worried what their intentions are, but there's definitely some sort of nefarious work, and people, one guy spits, and another person just grumbles and says, yeah, we should just go kill the whole lot of them. And she says, we don't have the resources for that. We've been over this. And, there's a few people riling up. This is clearly a tender point for this group.
Mm-hmm.
But one man stands up, and let me get his name.
We have a new sailor. He's stout tiefling named Tyrell. He's a crippling alcoholic.
Welcome aboard. Bruce,
Aren't we all?
we knew I had someone in mind for you that actually works pretty darn well. We'll try to keep him alive.
And paid.
And paid.
Sure, Xanathar's guide.
That would be over there, I think. No? It's not? Okay. That being said, the man who stands up, where are you? I can't find you at all. Well, I knew he was around here. Sorry, everybody.
I've already done that.
You see a man stand up, and he announces his name. Hello, I'm Eleander Fireborn, and you see, like, he stands up with trouble. He has a peg leg. He's like, and I might put forward that perhaps there's some work they could do on behalf of the town, if they're interested. They seem the resourceful type. And she's like, I was getting to that. I don't believe we've really had a proper introduction to immediately throw them into the throes of possible death. And he's like, well, no, we're not asking him to go fight the whole lot of them. We're just, and then another person speaks up, just let him speak his mind. And it's just this, like, it's so, for a council, it's just so all over the place. Hardly anything probably ever gets done here. And Eleander, the same person with the peg leg, he says, well, we could get the Empire to step in. We've been asking them to step in. They could just bolster our defenses. And Ada says, they're not going to bolster our defenses. They're going to take over. And you're just kind of in the middle of this. But they're basically what they're asking you is to scout it.
The lizard folk?
To scout what they're doing at Dunwater.
What have these creatures done to Saltmarsh? Has there been any
We've had
reports of what they...
disappearances, but not... Here's the thing. Anyone that goes out in the bog, they're kind of asking for it, in my opinion. Typically smugglers will go out there, but they kind of get what they deserve. But, and you hear some grumbling off in the corner. And, sailor, cook, dwarf, hippie. All right. Welcome aboard. I'm going to write all these down afterwards. I love them. And I'll try to give them some personality, too. All right, so basically people have gone missing, but it's more so there's some troubling reports that they're getting weapons. And they don't, typically if you know them, they make their own weapons out of bones and sticks and spears, just minuscule, like clubs. I mean, just nothing. But now they're trading for steel and hard iron and magical weapons, and being as close as they are and how unprepared we are. And she nods to Eleander, giving him kind of credit where credit's due. She says, but we don't want to wage an all-out war with someone that we don't know if their intentions are ill or if they're protecting their own. We don't know why they came to Dunwater. They were further away. And now they're just so close to us that we're getting a bit concerned. And based off what you tell us is that there's a weapon cache aboard your ship, and
We didn't say anything. You're assuming?
they did not. You didn't say anything. Sailors are funny when they go get drunk. It's something you can teach your people as well, Captain. All right, but anyway, that's what they say.
But he spills our secrets.
I'll see a river winter to backseat ship.
Oh yeah, you're a cat person. I love it. You're a cat person on the ocean.
Oh, retracted.
Even bit. Oh, retracted. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, as soon as you
Got
figure it
something
out.
better, yeah.
Okay, whatever. Don't be a cat person. See if I can. Anyway, they seem a bit frustrated. A dwarf speaks up and says, well, I have more need of them towards the mines, if you wouldn't mind. And then you see Ada stand up and say, not your place, not your time. And she's clearly, like, fuming at him. So, like, she wants...
Wait, you want us to go in the mines? I mean, what?
So,
You see, he
if I'm
wants to speak,
understanding
but he's not.
correctly, you want to hire a ship to hike into a bog to do reconnaissance?
Well, maybe not by... She says, well, there's really two ways you can go. Eleander, please. And he says, well, when I was in the military, there's definitely more than one way to enter an area. You could go by sea. There's definitely an entrance to that area. We've scouted it before they had gone in. It's part of a bigger structure, kind of a camp. It was well made at one point. Lizard folk had been there before, but they had since abandoned mostly.
So
But
they're just reclaiming their home.
you could go by sea, but I don't know how stealthy that would be. or you could go and we could send a scout with you to show you the way through the land. It's depending on you, but there's really 2 ways I can think of.
And what nature of compensation are you offering?
And you see them kind of like, like start talking. And Ada calls over someone in the back, and he comes forward with some books, and he's like, well, we could do, possibly, and she's like, and she just swats him away, and then she turns to you. 800
800 what?
gold. Just to go see what they're doing, find out some information. You don't have to go in and fight. You can even go and talk to them, however you want to handle it, but make sure not to uprise them. Don't let them know if you get caught. Don't let them know where you came from. Talk to them. They're not total savages. I know that they do allow trade. They're not just aggressors that kill, but they definitely are not to be trifled with. So if you're going in stealthy, go find some information, some papers, something that gives us a hint to their intentions. And then Eleander speaks up, or go in and start taking them out. Kill the queen. And she says, if it comes to it, you are allowed to kill, but please, by all means, don't let them know where you came from.
And do we know what, tribe this is?
They don't have any information on that.
That you just...
But
It's
we know
just-
that they're primal creatures because we've been interacting with them, right?
Yes. You definitely would have an advantage.
We tried communicating
You
with
could even
someone
bring
on the
those
ship
guys
already.
with you.
Yeah, because Jan and
Yeah.
Bisk are
Yeah,
Mercenaries.
on our... And have we been able to talk to them?
a little bit.
I'd say a little bit. You've gotten to know everyone's names.
Okay.
They're very different. Everyone else,
What do lizard folks speak?
they can speak common, but they also speak their own tongue.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on over here? I know.
They're just
I love you guys.
they're building
seriously.
on top of each other. It's
I love
it's
it.
Great.
I love reading them later.
Did
and
we come
watching.
up with a name for our ship yet?
We haven't.
No,
Okay.
we haven't have anything definitive yet.
All right.
Even though we're definitely leaning towards a couple. I want to see the rest. But anyway, so they said 800, and then someone else
Sorry,
says,
we're not naming it... What was
Munchkin.
S? No.
well, there's certain things that
Well.
we can't do. Sorry for the redaction. Sea Raven, that's a nice one. All right, so it's kind of got a blackish because it's used for smuggling. That could be a good one. All right, so basically they've laid this before you. You don't have to take it. You don't. This is just a council that's like, hey,
Right.
we need some help, and
Right.
you guys, everyone else is just fishers here and a couple guards,
Uh-huh.
and you guys are clearly capable of doing some amazing things. Heroes exist in the world. Let's face it, people know of people that are amazing, and when they come by, they're like, please help us. We're having a hard time here.
Seems like fair compensation. I don't know how we could put our crew to use on such a task.
Well, we're not asking you to send your whole crew. In fact, sending a contingent of sailors and soldiers with a bunch of swords going in, it's not going to look good.
Well, quite frankly, I have a ship of men to be concerned with, and if I leave them for weeks to drink at your docks, I don't think that would go well for the town.
And she says, our town guard are plenty capable. And Eleander looks over and nods. And
So you're telling me if they cause you trouble, it won't come back on us?
and they look at Eleander, and he looks at everybody, and he says, we need this, right? And like everyone's kind of like talking. And he says, what kind of trouble?
Well, to be honest with you, we just hired the crew, so we have no clue what they're capable of.
And he says, where did you hire them from?
Right here.
Oh, well, I know most of the riffraff that are in those taverns. They're not horrible people. They're not great people, mind you, but I've already been dealing with them. So as long as the rest of your crew that you came with don't pillage and plunder, they will all die if they do. But
Whoa.
and like everyone kind of chuckles a little bit, and he says, "We'll see that they're fairly dealt with."
Please don't kill our crew. I don't.
See, this is the point I'm making.
Yes.
I don't know that we can leave these people in your town.
Because how do we know that you will give them fair treatment? As you
There
said?
is another option.
Hmm.
They can stay aboard the ship. The ones who've already been ashore that we know can come to shore. The rest can be brought provisions as they need, but they must stay aboard the ship until further notice.
We should set them to task while we go do this.
They can help paint the ship.
Like I can see the sea shanty start in right now. It's like,
That'll take an afternoon. What sort of sailing?
The ship is huge. It's not going to take an afternoon.
What sort of work needs done that would require sailing for about a week?
this is why he's captain.
I know.
I think that's awesome. Well, there's quite a bit. The fishermen need help all the time. I mean, there's plenty of ship, but if they could stand guard, I mean, basically go and accompany. Sahwagin and various sea monsters tend to stay away of packs of ships.
So a company of fishing fleet.
Yeah, just to
and
make
protect
sure
them.
that they complete their work and.
And they'll get paid for this?
We would all get paid for it, yes.
As long as they're fairly compensated and we see a little on top.
Absolutely, of course. We always pay those who are willing to work.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's arrange to do that while
Cool.
we
That's cool.
put our boat to work.
Eliander's like, dude, that's sweet. No, he's very pleased that you are willing to work.
Salmon scales.
The whole crew is being replaced with other people. I love it. I'll have to read into them. How about the Sea Witch? I like that name too.
I think I like the Sea Raven the best.
Sea Raven's a good one. I have to admit that's.
Heroes War.
I do like all of them, but I'm really liking the Sea Raven myself. But I am the DM. It is not my decision. Now, all right. So there is one
your
who hasn't
decision.
spoken up. There's a young man named Anders who stands up, and you can see he's got some wealth about him. He doesn't look very experienced. He just kind of has been sitting back. But you can see he's got a little bit of power behind him, just the way he presents himself, even if it's a bit like with trepidatious, repose, just kind of just sitting there. But like you can tell he's very enthralled with this whole thing. Like maybe he hasn't been involved very long, but he's he speaks up and tells you who he is, that he's involved in the industry for the fishing, and he appreciates you coming in. He's a folk hero, so people know him as from his exploits and his work in protecting the town. He also fought off a group called the Sea Princes, slavers and murderers, and he's part of a group that helped put them to justice. But he speaks up and says that he's very pleased with what you're willing to do, and when you get back, if you succeed, that he'd be happy to speak to you. And
What's his name?
his name is Anders Salmore. Anders
You keep track of the names,
Solmor.
I'll keep track of the money.
It was Anders what?
Solmor. Solmor. So just so you know, you've actually heard about him already. Like he's
Okay.
pretty
He's
well
well known.
folk hero. He's well known in the area.
Are we a little starstruck?
Yeah, a bit. I imagine you would be a little bit when he says his name. You're all like,
I have all your trading cards.
the inspiration. That's awesome. No, so you're like really into it. So everyone that's involved in the town's fishing industry supports Anders.
And you're like, do you think he'd autograph them?
So his energy and ambition have made him something of a folk hero around the docks. On the other hand, he's openly opposed to smuggling, and he's hated the Sea Princes. So like, there's groups in the south that tend to rule. There's major cities to the south as well, but typically they're pretty far away though.
So are the Sea Princes like a guild, or
Kind of,
it's just
they're-
like a small group of men?
They're it's hard to say, pin a number on it.
Okay.
Like sometimes they'll show up in droves, sometimes they'll just be a few. You
Okay.
can guess there's probably quite a bit of them.
Okay.
But they're not so much the focus.
There's not like two of them and they're the Sea Princes and they do
No.
things.
I mean, who knows? But
Okay.
What song is that song? Was it Two Princes?
oh yeah.
That's just what I keep saying, thinking every time you say princess. Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
So you agree to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we will come.
Would she say that
So
they would
she
pay us
says-
800?
She says sign here. They already have the paperwork. And they said
What does the paperwork say?
exactly as she laid forth.
There's no
That,
fine print.
that she actually wrote in the amount
Okay.
of 800,
Okay.
and
We will have our lawyers look it over and we'll bring it back.
Oh, there's the matter of the ex-captain we need to deal with
Yeah.
before we leave.
Might you point us in the direction of the sheriff's office? We have a matter to discuss with him. What would you call a sea sheriff?
the sea sheriff.
I'm pretty sure there's a word for that.
That's a tavern nearby. Let me see. Yes. All right, it's right here. I'm just so I can get you the proper information. I have it right here. If this was my campaign, I would have made something up, and it would have sounded very convincing.
It would have sounded like you were really prepared for it.
And there's only so much you can be prepared of when you have a whole city. You know?
Let's ask about a random character that you would have never thought of in a million years.
Well, no, you're not DMing. He says there is a local place nearby. It's towards the edge of town. There's quite a little dungeon that we could throw someone in. Why?
Who runs it?
The sheriff, of course.
I'd like to speak to him.
Of course, we can arrange that. Is there a reason? Is something wrong? It speaks up, kind of curious. Like, what are you talking about?
I just have a question about local laws. If there's any kind of bounty system set up, we'll be at sea quite often and likely come across many pirates. I'd like to know more about the way things are run here.
Okay. So they actually walk out and they send someone to go fetch the captain himself, which doesn't take long. And he walks in. His name is Ernst, and he comes in. He says, "Yes, how can I help you?"
He's the sheriff?
No, he's the captain of the guard.
Oh, okay.
So we don't really have sheriffs.
Oh, yeah.
There is a particular person. I cannot find him. So
He came to us?
yeah.
I wanted to go to him. Just because, obviously, everybody here knows everything, and that bugs me.
Well, Eleander, I know, right? It can be frustrating.
Yeah.
So Eleander actually is.
I need to have
a sort
things
of
in my
sheriff.
back pocket, It's.
Well, there's much you can do here.
Yeah.
This is just the initial, but yeah.
We've got about 20, 30 names in here now.
Well, we're gonna need
Yeah,
replacements.
we're gonna have.
They're all red
yeah.
shirts to put it in a Star Trek way. The wave breaker, the fish wagon.
The fish
This
net.
is Britannia.
Dirty Dan.
I love them. I love them. How about the wet knot? All right. Well, we also need a crew name too. I mean, because you can't just be the ship name. It's like a pirate crew. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll get there. Anyway, that might come out organically. So we want to wait for our other compatriot to be here as
Yeah,
well for
yeah.
the big names.
Yeah.
As far as a ship, though, we can definitely choose one of these. Anyway, Eleander does kind of run the law here. I mean, he is the captain. Like, he's the leader of the whole militia and everything.
The old guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
with the peg leg. He's not like the
Eleander.
one who goes in to fight. That's this guy that comes in.
Okay.
He's like his right-hand man.
Leander, tell me, are there bounties? Are there warrants out for arrest for pirates in the region?
Everyone. Yes, everyone we have a name for, we put bounties on, depending on the dastardly deeds.
What's
know.
done with pirates when they are brought into you?
Depending on the severity, if they're simply just stealing and leaving to go, most of the crew, we can work things out with them to either fight for us or work for us, depending on the needs. And he kind of smiles, and then some people chuckle and other people grumble. But he says most of the time, though, they find the noose. The Empire does not stand for piracy.
I see. And this is all dependent on the bounty on their head?
Yes, typically any smuggler found is killed by the Empire, but that being said, And he kind of turns and looks at everybody. He says, "It's a little different here. You'll have to get to know the town a bit, but there is some legitimacy to the work of a smuggler in these times. Because the name itself," and someone just sighs across the room. He's like, "The name itself doesn't mean that you're doing something that's thieving that you should rightfully be able to sell." And other people go, "Yeah," and so and he's like, "Empire tariffs," and she's like, "That's enough, that's enough." And and she Ada speaks up, but she's like, "Okay," and he's like, "I apologize. The people that are brought to us, we deal with, and if we need to, the Empire will deal with them."
So
You're reading the name.
you guys should have a man-child that is a sailor, 3 gnomes in a trench coat. Name him Jim.
I'm not saying that won't happen. That's definitely a possibility if we lose some sailors. I am going to write all of these down. I can't wait to read through them. All right. Anyway, he says that they basically killed him. Depending. If they've been murderers and killing and stealing, then they deserve to die.
Sounds
I might have some names that I'd like to discuss with you.
Fair enough. Meet with me afterwards, and we'll discuss those. And she says, "Well, then you're going?"
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so she looks over at you and says, "Captain Alston, I appreciate your work and also of your wood elf friend and your dragonborn friend, and I believe that we can make this a very
Yeah,
lucrative
we
business."
never introduced. We just were like, "This is the captain."
Alston kind of stood in the back, just
Key.
kind of Key.
Yeah.
I meant Key, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so Key kind of just stood in the back, crossed his arms, and just looked cool.
Strong and silent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's like the bodyguard of the group. He's trying to use like the
He
intimidation
really is,
factor.
though.
Yeah, no, he is. He could mess everyone up in this room,
Yeah,
probably,
yeah,
no problem.
Just by looking at him. Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Let's not go too. This crew is going to be as quirky as like Pirates of the Caribbean.
One of everything.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Let's do this. All right. So you start. They say meeting adjourned, and everyone kind of comes by, shakes your hands, and kind of gets to like the rub against the oh yeah you're gonna be important. You know what I mean, like rub shoulders. It's a figure of
You said
speech.
rub against the and you moved on.
I'm just gonna drink some of this and keep on going.
We get what you were trying to say,
Yeah.
but it was really funny what you did
I
say.
don't know. We're in a pretty.
Start twerking. I mean, it's really weird.
We're in a pretty devious
It's our culture.
sea town here.
Anyway, so they some of them really want to meet you, some of them really don't. And
Wait. Okay, never mind.
no.
Can't keep going.
So you leave. Everyone leaves except for Eleander, and he leans against the table, like the front of the table, and he's right next to you, and he says, "So names." And that Captain Ernst comes up, and he gets a like a little quill out, and he's just sitting there with a pad.
And I say blatantly, I didn't ask her name because, quite frankly, I didn't want to give her that respect. But the previous captain of the Sea Ghost,
You caught her.
we
Oh,
have her
yes.
in custody.
And do you say custody? No. Okay, I was just like, that would be so funny. Your intelligence is pretty good, right?
We're like custody.
Did he say custard?
Yeah, no, I'm just,
And
Now
he's
I'm
just there. He
hungry.
says,
Mark's not here, so I have to.
yeah, no, I appreciate filling that gap. He's like, well, Sigurd, I believe her name was, is quite the catch. I hear she's fierce on the sea. I mean, if you have her, you have her. Where is she?
Mhm.
He's on board her.
She's on her ship.
She's in the brig then. Okay. Well, can we send some men to capture her? We would love to speak to her. She's been
Yeah.
stealing from us and killing our people for years.
Yes, please.
Well, quite frankly, I'd like to see her in a position where she could never come back to find retribution.
Yeah. Well, we could stab her. He says, and the captain laughs. He's like, "Forgive the captain. In his old age, he is a little bit quick to. She will stand trial, and she will be paid for her sins, and we'll make sure to make it right before the gods before we end her life." I mean, you can see that
So she's
Ernst
not going
is
to be
a
able
little
to come
bit.
back after us. That's the whole thing here.
Not unless some demons resurrect her, but we're going to make sure she dies and burns.
As long as it's within the light of the Empire and it is done through the proper channels, and of course we receive the reward for her.
And Eleander spits when you mention the Empire. He's like, be that as it may. He actually laughs when after he spits. He just says, "So are you for the Empire or are you against the Empire?" Just, I mean,
We're
not
neutral.
against, but just
Neutral.
Quite.
We're Switzerland.
Let me put it this way: you don't make enemies out of the most powerful entities in the
Land.
land, whatever it's called.
he just looks at you and he's, even though he spits, you
Wasn't he a part of the Empire? Oh.
you're not sure his motives at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple rolls might make you know,
Yeah.
but,
Oh, well, how big?
But anyway-
it's not gonna get
but
us
anyway,
anything.
he's just looking at you very like quizzically, like he's just like eyeing you, like really eyeing you when he's like talking about the Empire.
Uh-huh.
And even with just not rolling, you do sense there's a bit of like showmanship when he spit type thing. But he just goes on and says, well, I'm just curious as one soldier to another. Keep your opinions about this to yourselves. Since you've done us a service, I will overlook certain things, and if you come across anyone else, please, by all means, bring them to me.
Yeah, just look at it this way. Clearly, we want to look out for ourselves, but we're doing things the right way. We've legitimized our ship and we're turning in pirates.
That I did hear about. That was quite an impressive move. Most people would have gone south and sold all the goods and gone away. But I appreciate that move. It goes along to note, and even the Empire will hear of your hard work.
Yes, we've done a lot of work for them. We have good friends in the Empire.
Yes, I heard. Thaddeus did send word that you were to come and report of a house. And that was the same house that you mentioned is full of smugglers, not ghosts.
Correct.
We've heard about that place. It's
We did not find
smugglers.
any ghosts.
and he sees you look at each other and he says,
There
"Were
might be
ghosts?"
one in a room that says don't go in. So,
Thank you for the note.
There may be-
We're meant to secure that, and I appreciate the heads up.
There
Is
may
there
be
anyone
something
else?
dangerous. I'm doubtful that it's.
Is there anyone else alive in there? And Austin speaks up. He says, "Everything is dead in there."
mean key.
Key. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Key. I am juggling 60 names.
Yeah.
Like seriously. And
Excuses.
so he speaks up and says, "No, they're all dead, minus that room. There's definitely something in that room." Insert pun.
Yes.
All right. I'm sure there's something.
Yeah.
We miss you, Mark. Anyway, so we'll go get her. You'll be compensated for her if she is indeed still there. I mean, she's tricky. She might already be gone.
Not likely.
She's very wounded, and she's probably not gone.
We had
She
her
could
down. We had her down to 1 hit point, I think.
She
Yeah.
could be.
We
You
haven't
you
checked on
smacked her.
her.
Last damage you did, you struck her with your whip, and it tore open her
Yep.
face.
Yep.
She's bleeding pretty severely when you did that.
And
Anyway,
then we tied her up and threw her in a room that has probably not enough air.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
oh man, you
probably
guys
dead.
got all sorts
Characters
of things.
galore.
Jeez, I can't
Our
wait.
crew is going to be too big, guys.
No, this is good because there's some stuff that's gonna happen, and if
Yeah.
you ever bring them, it's
Need replacements.
we need cannon fodder. This is gonna
Alright.
get nuts. This is just the beginning. This
Mhm.
this book gets insane.
All right, so are we leaving now?
If you would like, yes.
Yeah, let's take care of the woman and then we'll go on our mission.
All right, so they deal with the crew that are part of your smuggling group. That basically everyone that was there stays. Do you invite the lizard folk to come with you, or were you just leaving them?
I don't know. I don't know if I can trust them.
I don't think I do. I'm kind of curious on why they're on.
They could be reliable. I mean, they could be a resource, but yeah.
I kind of feel like this is my thought that maybe
If anything, they might give us up.
if we found on the ship the ingots that have the lizard folk symbols, and there's a bunch of weapons that are supposedly supposed to be sold to the lizard folk, and then to mercenaries, that they probably have something to do with it. Yeah. That's mine. So we could take them with us and like deal with them all there.
Let them go home.
Or we could just wait.
Go to your home.
I think they would ambush us.
Yeah.
If they are with them.
No, I think that's a legitimate choice to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. By the way, thank you for all the people that are just watching. I mean, there's quite a few of you that are on, so I appreciate that. Even if you don't comment, we still love you to be here. The fact that people are watching is crazy at all. All right, so now we've gotten
What time of the day is it? Is it good?
Yeah, it's
9:42.
It is morning right now. The council met. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, pretty close.
Okay. I wasn't far off. Yeah. Mountain Standard Time.
This is like China time. All right. So
that's probably
I operate
true.
on
That's
that time too.
True.
Yes, you do. All right. So he does hand you a sack of gold just for her. You don't know how much it is, but it's pretty hefty.
Okay, now tell me how much it is because
Hefty.
I am the Minka.
Yeah, so you find 800 gold in that as well.
Nice.
She was a high price target.
Are there banks?
Yes.
We're holding a lot of gold.
Yes, there are banks, and they issue you actual physical items that say that you own this much money, but also it's on their records and it goes throughout the empire.
And
they're well done with the banks.
I'm sure they've got ways of identifying who's holding what and how it. Yeah.
Magic is irrefutable.
Because if some other guy's like, "Hey, I got this thing. Give me all my money,"
you'd be burned to a crisp. Yeah. Banks aren't to be messed with.
Okay.
They can be, which that can be.
We
fun.
can deal with the bank.
I suggest we do like 90% of that rather than carrying 2,500 gold
also
pieces.
credit, I mean, so to speak. Like you go to a merchant and say, "We have the money.
Yeah.
Go get it. They'll give it to you."
We've got a note with this bank. Yeah.
I'm just gonna make it easy. It's like a credit card.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just invest what we've been given because I have 600
you're
gold
worth the money. People know
from
you
the
have
empire, and you probably have the same amount.
Yeah.
And so we'll just invest what we've.
So we probably
just put
between
that out.
the three of us, we probably got like 4,000
You have a
gold, 5,000
good-
gold.
Well, then
bit of money.
Doric
Yeah.
also.
Well, you also had to pay for the ship too, so you actually had less. But
No. I kept track
good.
of that.
Okay. Good.
So.
Right.
No.
I actually did too.
Did you?
I sure did. All right, so now you've told them to stay aboard, and the other ones you said you can get off the ship, but you're part of our crew, so keep yourselves decent. And then you're on your way. You left
and I'm gonna have.
oh wait, no. You didn't tell them that. You were telling them to go with the fishing vessel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm putting
For
Frithoff
protection.
in charge.
Okay. There, and he says, "Well, there's a matter of defense, sir. We do have some weapons, but the ship is in need of some possible upgrades if it ever comes to it. I know a man in Saltmarsh who is quite the craftsman, and perhaps he could install some defenses or possible projectile weaponry."
Have at it. Just kidding.
And he looks at you and,
I'm just.
"Captain, is this something that you'd
I'm
like to
just-
do?"
I'm just frivolous.
Come
I'm
up
just
with a
kidding.
list of what you recommend. Give me the prices.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Get an appraisal. And we'll discuss.
I'm a really good
The captain has spoken.
I'm just talking. It's not really Tatiana. It's just me.
I just love it. That's like my bard. I don't mean to be the way that I am, but I am.
Hey, Mark joined us. Hi, Mark.
Mark.
You should help us name the ship.
Hi, Mark. And also the crew. Like, we should have like a team
And
name.
crew name. Oh, hi, Mark.
That's what I was going for.
Oh, I just saw a Star Wars crossover with that today. It was hilarious. I'll have to show it to you.
Okay, so where are we heading? Do you have a map?
Oh.
Yes, we have a map. And Doric comes out with
Who's
the map.
coming with us? Doric.
If you want Doric to come with you, Doric will come with you. This is a stealth mission.
or
He's
should-
wearing plate. You can tell him what to wear.
Should we leave him on the ship to like watch the ship because we trust him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Doric. We love you, and that is why
We probably trust him better than anyone else.
we trust you
Yeah.
more than anyone else in the whole world. So that is why you need to stay here and watch the ship.
Don't let these.
He looks
people
around, he's just-
sail off with the boat.
He's like, well, I've always been a sailor, so I mean, it's not much of a different thing for me. But
Perfect.
the sea's calling to me, so yes, I'll guard the group.
Don't leave us. Stay
Oh no,
here.
they might
Don't,
slip
don't let
my
the
throat.
sea be
I
too
love
loud.
how he's like, he's got like nothing to do. Like, he's like, oh crap, I lost the horses. Guess I'm living with these guys now.
He would have been executed for doing so.
Yeah.
So he's just like, all right.
You would have been executed for losing the horses,
It's the Empire, and there were like 9 of them.
but it was a what was it, a centaur? What did we
Minotaur.
fight?
Minotaur,
Oh, I
the
couldn't
one that you-
remember what it was.
Brutally murdered, by the way.
I couldn't remember what we
Didn't
fought.
get
It
a
seems
hit
like
on
such
you at
a long
all.
memory.
Mark poked it and it died.
Several
I mean,
times.
Key. Yeah.
Anyway,
And I was the bear.
Yeah. That's right.
I
That's
was a
right.
bear. All right.
And then we mourned for its family.
That didn't exist. Oh, I about hit you when you said, and then a small.
A small family shows up. So Shippy McShipface, yeah?
Purple conch.
Goodness gracious. Okay, guys.
Gosh, you guys are
Let's
awesome. Okay. All right. So you head out. It is still morning. I mean, it's about, I would say about 10 o'clock because you
All
have
right.
to deal with everything.
How far away is this place?
I'm glad you asked. So the next place.
How long will it take us to
We're
get there?
hiking.
700 days. Oh, wait. You didn't want to go by ship. You're going by land. Okay.
Yep, we're hiking. Because the boat's going on a job.
And I assume you brought provisions and everything as well.
Of course.
I assume the same.
Me too.
No, I mean,
I made sure
Yeah,
of
no,
it.
yes,
for the sake
yes.
of time, I'm just
Yeah.
going to say you probably.
Yes, we did. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
All right.
Let me get the thing. Where's the thing? There's lots of things.
Dungeon Master.
Okay, here we go. So you're heading west. Never eat soggy waffles. That's literally what I have to do every time. Here you go.
But what if you like soggy waffles?
So you are in Saltmarsh. You are traveling west along the shoreline, and it's going to take you, I would say, most of all day.
Okay.
You'll get there probably in the evening if everything goes well.
Fantastic. Let's go.
Oh,
All right.
nobody gets away from Adam Wee.
All right, the overland journey is longer because it's difficult terrain. There's dozens of trails that follow. You're being led, by the way, by a scout.
Oh, I would think
Oh.
Key, but if we have a scout, that's
Well,
even better.
they did say they would
Yeah,
show you the way because I'm just like, go that way, you know, like you could end up anywhere.
right.
You probably would.
You just get sent into a bog. You're just like.
I'll bet the council just wants to get rid of us.
So dozens of trails follow the route, roughly parallel to the coast, 100 to 400 yards away from it because of the terrain. It will take the party about 12 hours to travel from Saltmarsh to the ford over the Dunwater River. This time does not account for resting, but does allow for slow movement. So, I mean, you're going slow because it's just rough terrain.
Horrible.
It's rough terrain. It's not like a bog yet, but it's
I
definitely.
can swim fast because I'm wearing cool armor.
That's right. That's right.
And we can breathe underwater if we want to. That's pretty much all I can do, guys. Just kidding. That's not true.
You and your druid powers.
But I don't even know how to use. Except moonbeam,
It's okay, I don't know how to use druid powers either.
call lightning.
Okay, so as you're walking, the scout turns around and says, "All right, it's just down that way. Best of luck to you." And he turns around and
Shoot him, Key. Just kidding.
he's like, All right.
Take him out.
How many men does it take to send a message?
None. In
None.
this case.
I was like,
We only have one guy,
Yeah.
so we don't need
I
to
mean,
send
if
a
someone
message.
uses speak to dead, technically you're right.
That's my other character.
So you can't see it yet because it's just kind of dipping down into like a bog, and there's heavy trees and just
And it's nighttime now.
it's nighttime now, and it doesn't feel like, you know, that feeling of like, what am I doing? You know, like, why am I here? You know, that like it's starting to kind of set in as you're walking towards this bog in the middle of the night, which never is the safest thing ever. You have an option to stay
So
the
why
night.
why didn't the scout just stay with us overnight instead he just goes through by himself back to
He knows what he's doing.
So
Middle of the night, yeah.
He knows what he's
he's
doing.
like, la, 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 la.
Especially when they're like, people just disappear out here.
I know. He just goes by himself.
Mark, we
Kinda
miss you
dumb.
too, man. We miss you too.
Okay. So we should probably find a little place to set up a tiny little camp, and then we will do some night.
How far are we
Watching.
estimated away at this point? Is it? I mean, would we feel safe setting up camp?
A sort of camp, yes, but
Okay.
definitely not like roaring fire. Let's sing
Yeah.
songs, you know, like,
Okay.
but basically, let's hide ourselves and just rest.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
hey,
Okay.
hey, hey. I can turn into a little animal.
You sure can. You've not
Guys.
turned into much. Barnacle Bill salutes.
Hold on, I have to find my
Gosh,
list.
I'm gonna have to read everything you guys did.
have a
I'm
list.
excited.
There's like 100
It's-
names in there now.
It's like a treat for me. I'm like, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
Okay. What level am I? Level 4?
Yes.
All right. Should probably turn into something small. I'm gonna turn into a pony. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Little Sebastian.
Scorpion. That's gonna. Oh, I love that show. I'm gonna turn into. Wait. Do I know what lizard folk eat?
Flesh, just in general.
Any
They
kind
will
of-
eat people if they die. They don't waste.
What about a giant lizard?
Yeah, probably.
Dang it. I don't want to get eaten.
They pretty much see even all humanoids besides themselves. They're either all flesh, like to eat, or they're lizard folk.
Okay, we'll think about this first.
It's really like how they.
We'll make a plan before I turn into anything. But I remembered that I can turn into an animal.
No, and it's always nice.
I can also talk to spiders. Just kidding, I can talk to other things too. Which I should
Yeah.
talk to animals around
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah, they could tell you what the lizards are
Yeah.
doing. You should pick like an owl or something.
Okay. Do I see any animals in the area?
Not a lot actually.
I'm like, coo, coo.
You do manage to see. There are a couple night birds that are kind
Okay,
of making
okay.
their song.
So I'm going to. How does this work, guys? It's been a while. Hold on. Speak with animals.
This should be fun.
Oh, here we go. Speak with animals. So, I don't have to roll anything, right?
For speak to animals, I believe you just do it, and
Yeah.
it does. If it says roll, then roll. But if not, it's just a duration thing.
Yeah, it's just a duration
Yep.
thing. All right. I'm a bird. I call a bird to me. All of the birds.
All the birds. What is the radius on that?
Come to me.
This is self.
How loud can you speak?
Okay.
Because it's casting the speak on me.
Okay, so it's just in your general space. So
It's
you're
like-
just. She basically starts
And they
making
just
sounds
land.
much like a bird.
They land on my arms.
They do. They sure do. There's about like 15 of them, including
It's
a
like-
pelican
It's
that
like
comes
in,
out of
it's like in
nowhere.
Shrek. What was it, like Shrek 3 or whatever? Oh, you know, like it's the Snow White. That's how I imagine it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That happens. There's a bunch of sparrows and
Can I talk to all of them?
nightingales, a pelican. Yeah, you can talk to
Okay.
them.
Okay.
land on your arm like the pelican too. Just all.
I'm a freaking dragonborn.
She
Of
just
course
like
it
stretches out her arms and all these birds. Yeah, you can talk to him.
All right, so I talk to the birds,
It's a
Dragonborn
mess.
cooing
and
like
I
a
say,
pigeon.
I say,
They're listening to you. They can understand you, but they're just like just like freaking out.
hush.
They silence.
Okay, there is an encampment of strange creatures ahead of us. What can you tell me about them?
Well, it's not like they're gonna talk in English accents or anything. But based
Why not?
their minds, you kind of just reach their minds a bit, and their tweets become somewhat coherent.
Very coherent because I speak with animals.
But it's the mind of a bird, so it's the intellect of a bird.
Birds can be smart.
Sure.
Pigeons can carry messages.
Yes, and the words that come out of their mouths are prey, birds, beasts, crocodiles, gnats, bugs, mosquitoes, birds, pelican. Like they're like looking at each other, like and then and someone says,
Lizard folk.
and then someone says fire,
Okay, where's the fire?
and then all of them start like chirping, like freaking out, and then one like ruffles its feathers and starts like coming up to you. It's a rush, and it like hops up to your shoulder and starts like tweeting in your ear, and it basically helps you find the location of like their center where the fire is.
How many? Can you count?
And it goes.
A lot?
It just says
Small.
dangerous, many.
Okay, that's good enough. All right, thank you.
And they all just fly off into the
We just watched
darkness.
Cinderella and Snow White, so I'm like
And,
in
and
that mindset.
he is just sitting there, I assume. Mark, feel free to chime in if you're in. But I mean, everyone's just kind of like, all right, fair enough. And
And I say, there's a fire. There's a lot of them, and they're very dangerous. And I know where they are.
Do we want to approach these things in the night?
I'm not an NPC. I can't chime in. I mean, I am, but
Dork is not here with us.
no. I mean, I could do Alston, but I'm not sure.
Mickey.
Dude,
I'll do Alston.
I swear this isn't
Here.
on purpose. What about the black frog? Oh, are you talking? Oh, stop! I'm like, what are you talking about?
Here, there you go. Mind yourself.
I will get better. So anyway, Alston speaks up. I'm just kidding. So he says, "Well, cover at night. It's always gives us an advantage, but
We'll just kind of. I think we should just maybe look around at them because I know where they are.
the ribbed kitty."
And if we feel like we want to wait, do we want to approach them, or are we just wanting to check them out?
Well, Key speaks up and says, "Well, they just wanted to
They
find
just
out
want
what their
information.
intentions are.
So do we?
So if
need
we
to
can
talk
find
to them?
some, they probably want actual physical proof, not just us
So we
saying,
need to
it's all
find, like,
good. Gave
This
us money.
is what we plan to do. We have to find the written plans.
Something.
Did
Okay.
anyone bring the camera?
Dang it!
I
My
knew.
other suit of armor.
I knew we forgot something.
All right, so
Never mind.
you're standing on a hill right now that's overlooking this dense, like foresty jungle area.
Did we hike through a bog, or the bog is in front of us?
The bog is currently in front of you. You were walking along a rocky coast
Oh,
that's
okay.
kind of turned a bit more marshy as
Okay,
you've
okay.
had this direction.
So in front of us, where they are, is the bog.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
A bog
All right.
type.
So. All right. So maybe we. Captain.
I'll have to move deliberately slowly if I accompany.
Are
I'm
you-
not very stealthy,
Hmm.
and besides that, this is difficult terrain.
Well,
Are we losing him? Or is it just me?
Oh yeah.
Just
Same-
checking.
Same here.
It dips, it'll come back. We'll just wait.
Yeah, it's back up.
Are we all back? I think we're back. If it didn't dip for you, it dipped for us. I just want to check. There's so many of them.
I don't even know what they're talking about anymore.
All right.
We're lost. Okay.
They're the sailors. It's what they're talking about on their ship.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I mean,
What are we gonna call ourselves? Well, I mean,
We, like, I could go ahead
you just have a
as
live
a
feed
little
of the
animal,
sailors.
as like a bird or something. Wait,
A
I can't
bird.
fly yet.
Not yet.
I can't fly yet.
But yeah, you can be an animal. And
Yeah,
So yeah, we
I
definitely
can't
got-
fly yet. Okay.
if we cut out, I apologize. Sometimes our internet goes like this, and it just comes back. Not sure why.
I could go ahead
having
as an
other-
animal and check it out, or we could all go, or we could just wait until the morning. But I kind of feel like we should kind of look ahead, you know, under the cover of night.
Yeah. It's cutting out.
Because it's
It's taking time to load.
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but we should be fine. For if it keeps doing it, we might stop soon. But for now, we're just gonna kind of go forward. And if you can get the gist of it, if something cuts out that's major you don't get, please ask. I will gladly explain it again. Okay, back in. So you're asking, do you want to go now? Is that what you're saying?
Do we want to go all together, or should I just go ahead? As an animal. Right?
That makes more sense than me trying to fumble around behind you.
It's true. True.
Keep.
And Key says, well, if you go and want,
I mean, I could be a little animal.
It's cutting out so much right now.
yeah.
Should we stop it and then start again?
I'm not hooked up to your internet, by the way. This
Yeah.
is over my cell.
Yeah.
So.
So what I'm gonna do is stop it. Actually, it's 10 o'clock. Would you
It's
want to
past
keep going?
10.
Yeah.
I'm okay either way.
Yeah, let's wait until Mark anyway.
Yeah, because there's up enough. Does it look like it's?
They're talking about the cutout.
Yeah. Okay. So our internet's like, hey, you're done, which is frustrating because I wanted to get to one more thing before we stop.
Well, maybe.
If you can understand me, that's great. Yeah,
'Kay.
it's ridiculous. We are stopping for tonight.
We are having some pretty good wind and weather and stuff.
Yeah, so it might be.
Yeah.
Probably.
So it might be
as well.
stopping. So we're gonna just stop the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Not sure what happened. Well, we would have to reset the internet, but since we're close to ending anyway, we're just gonna stop here so we can get our good pal Mark in and we can have some fun. So thank you all for watching, and may your rolls always be natural ones, just not natural ones. Toodaloo.
Salah.
X.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
The finish and done.
to stop streaming?